You won't believe what Congress just passed. And not only did they just pass something, they felt like it was a good job, so they just went home for the week. Now tell me, how many of you have worked your job, make six figures, and can able to basically set your schedule to 2 days a week and just let the rest go off? Not only that, this vote dealt with them being home more, and not actually being in Washington voting to pass bills. We're going to discuss that today. It's just mind-blowing to me. Also, we're going to discuss what Texas just passed. We talked about this epic city is pushing some blowback and having some blowback, and it should, because they're pushing for Sharia law. We've been talking about it, and I'm glad more people are thinking about how dangerous this is. But they're not doing much better, because guess what their Congress just did? They just passed a day that is in representation of what makes no sense in America. Let me just say it like that. We're going to discuss that story also. Now, there was another leak that Elon Musk just said that there was a monster amount of files that they were trying to delete and hide so Doge wouldn't find them out. Well, Doge found the files, and you won't believe how many they are. And not only that, why are these people trying to hide from this? It's unbelievable. And then I go back to the story of saying, when people are trying to hide something, when we see that people should be getting fired for wasting fraud and having billions wasted, why in the world is no one prosecuting them? One thing I've realized more and more is how worthless our Congress is, and how worthless some of these people are that say they're going to do something and never do. Also, we're going to discuss what a BlackRock person just said, a financial advisor that used to work for BlackRock. What he just said about the things that went here, and also what a new study just brought up about those same things. I think it's both something we need to talk about, because it shows how safe were we when they were telling us to put this, use this, do this. And we realized it actually was harming us. We'll talk about those stories. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today, and we humbly thank you each and every month that you support us, and we thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your life and part of your news and part of your journey in sustainability and trying to be wiser with decisions you make for your family each and every day. So thank you so very much. Now let's jump into these stories for the day. Remember, we're going to be doing a giveaway at the end of this video for one person who's commented and who is subscribed and who was entered in the giveaway based on that. So we'll be releasing that name at the very end of the video. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about Congress. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm fed up. Now let's just talk about what they haven't done and what they are doing. And what they haven't done, they haven't codified any executive order by Trump. They have not codified any Doge findings, meaning all the waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, Trump has done it, but Congress has not codified and actually approved and dismantled what Elon Musk and what Doge has talked about. They've really not done it. And remember, they're the ones that hold the purse strings. They actually still fully funded a lot of things that they were supposed to not fund. Congress is the cause of a lot of these bad laws and a lot of this bad money spent out because of the airport projects. Now, what did they actually do this week? Now, they've not done anything such as actually find waste, fraud, and abuse themselves. They've actually not fired people in their own offices. They've actually not brought charges up and had really big motivations to form Trump's agenda. I mean, like I told you last week, Sean Ryan brought up the $40 to $80 million a week that we're spending on the Taliban. We're still giving money to NGOs. We're giving money to NGOs that are notoriously giving our taxpayer dollars to the Taliban. Is that not crazy? Guess what? That bill is sitting on Johnson's desk. That bill is sitting on Thune's desk and will not go in front of Congress. So let's talk. That's the things they haven't done for you. Now, what they have done this week. They did one vote this week, and I guess since that was just such a strong vote, that they're taking off the rest of the week. So we literally saw 2 days of Congress working, and now they're going to take off for the rest of the week. Name one other job you can do that with. And on top of that, you know what bill they passed? The bill they passed actually was passed really by a few Republicans and the majority of Democrats. While carrying a baby on stage and talking about this, we preached against proxy voting for so long. We believe that people should be able to vote not from home, not in their pajamas. We're not working from home. We're making everybody come back to work. Trump is actually making people come back to work. Doge is making people come back to work. And our Congress just passed a law. It allows them to vote from their home. Now you tell me, how does that make sense? And the pushback is this, and you may think this is unpopular and you may think I'm wrong for saying this. The pushback was ladies saying that they are wanting to go on maternity leave and they're wanting to make sure they can have a baby and be home and not feel like they're obligated to be in Washington. Okay, here's my problem. I'm all for having babies. Again, I have 6 kids. But if you have to decide being a mom and a politician and you're the one that's elected to do the job of a politician, you only have a 2-day work week this week, you either better decide if you want to be a politician or a mom. Because if you can't make it for a 1 vote a week, or 1 vote every 2 weeks, or 1 vote a month, or just being up there when you need to be, then you don't need to be a politician. You don't need to be a representative because you are doing a sucky job of representing your people. And if you just had a baby and you're out for that time being, okay. I mean, you know what? I can't help that. But if you're knowingly saying, look, we want to pass laws so that way we can sit on our couch and pass these laws, and we don't have to go to Washington. We don't have to deal with all that. And on top of that, only work 2 days a week. I mean, that's a problem. I have a problem with that. Because guess what? I work way more than 2 days a week. Actually, I worked 7 days a week. And it blows my mind that they're making 6 figures and they're complaining. Now, they're elected officials by you, but they're complaining, including a lot of Republicans, like 10 Republicans. And most of them were from the Freedom Caucus, or what we would consider the conservative side of the wing, which would not be me and would not be people that I associate with, but they wanted more time off. Well, if you wanted more time off and you wanted more time with your children, do like my wife did, and she came home. She quit her job, we made the sacrifices, and she actually started momming a lot more. Now, could she not have done that, still been a nurse? Yeah. But if she goes and complains every day about being a nurse because she wants to be home with her children, then it'd probably be wise for her to be home with her children. This goes with these politicians. Come on. Why did we allow this to happen? And then all of a sudden they passed that one bill. When they don't pass the bill to stop the 40 million going to Taliban, they have not codified any of this waste, fraud, and abuse and actually stopped it. They have not codified any of these executive orders, but they can pass a bill to allow them to vote in their PJs at their house. I have a problem with that. Let's go over a few influencers and what they said and some of the thoughts and reactions from this. From Nick Sorter, he says, after less than 1 day in session, the House is done for the week. Speaker Mike Johnson said, this comes after a handful of Republicans joined the Democrats to allow the members to vote on their couches instead of coming in for the week. That rule, when Trump is wanting people to get back to work, nah, let's just let them stay home. It was a good comment from Cat Turd, an influencer on Twitter. Says, is there anything more worthless on the planet than Republicans in the Congress? 0 President Trump's executive orders passed into law with a majority. Another week of rogue justices destroying the agendas and not one congressman who's actually brought it to the floor and actually got 1 vote, Mike Johnson, to actually stop these judges. Another week of handful of Republicans voting with Democrats, never the other side, but now Republicans are joining the ranks of Democrats to vote for this policy that just went through. Another week of the laziest people taking off from the U.S. It says all you guys care about is your pet projects and your own money and not the will of the people. Sean Farash says, who doesn't love just a 2-day work week? I mean, who would rather work 2 days a week and make 6 figures? The House is done for the week. No more votes will go on this week, Mike Johnson said. Chip Roy came out, and again, I'm not the biggest Chip Roy fan. I think he tries to play both sides, but he said, proxy voting is unconstitutional and will be abused and expanded. Show up for work or don't run for Congress. I mean, that was the most important thing. That's what I was just saying. If you can't do the job, don't do the job. I mean, don't run for the job. It makes no sense to me that you get a job and then you complain about your job. That makes no sense, especially when it's an optional job. It's amazing to me. What are we doing? Now let's move right on into another thing that just happened. You know, I told you about the 40 to 80 million go to the Taliban. This came out from Sean Ryan. I thought this was really good. It says, I've brought it to light that we are sending $40 to $87 million to the Taliban for over a year now. I could never put together why the U.S. would be funding terrorism and fighting it for 20 years, meaning fought it for 20 years and now we're paying the same people that we were fighting to basically get more power. As it turns out, it was for the opium trade. I've said it several times before, and I'm not sure who the good guys are anymore. Because now what we've seen is the bribing and the selling and the marketing of the opium trade in some of these countries is how we funneled money to the Taliban for so long. So now we're paying for drugs and paying for terrorists. You wonder why Doge and Elon are important? Because of this right here. Without a lot of these stories, you'd never know that. You'd never know what's happening. For instance, what just reported, Elon Musk made a monster announcement. Said Elon Musk says that the U.S. government tried to delete a terabyte of financial data to cover up their crimes, but they don't understand technology, so we recovered it. Now, why are you trying to hide from what Elon's doing? I mean, there's only one reason. It's because you're trying to hide something. Trying to hide fraud, crimes, and abuse. Pam Bondi needs to quit going on Fox News and start arresting some of these people and actually bringing up charges to the people that are actually causing the waste, fraud, and abuse. If that's Congress, I'm fine with that too. Let's arrest them too. Because it's ridiculous, because they'd be willing to spend our money instead of actually taking care of getting things done for Americans. Just like I told you, a 2-day work week, then go home for the rest of the week, enjoy, put your feet up, voting from home, making $200K a year. It's amazing, isn't it? I want to go to these two stories. One was shared by BlackRock, a former worker, and also Namar DeFall, who is on Twitter. It says, these that went in the arm are leaving changes to all of the immune system. It says researchers discovered that the CV19 permanently altered and innated the immune system, training immune cells to basically be modified and to fight against infections. After the vax, white blood cells showed increased activation of inflammation genes for at least 6 months. Crucially, a booster does not necessarily maintain it, but it can, quote unquote, help. This is from this study now. The findings may explain how these RNA studies could offer broader protection against future viral protections and shaping vaccine strategies from here on out. Now, the reason I want to bring this up, they're spinning this as a positive story, that it leaves great changes on your immune system. Now, here's my problem. What do we talk about all this GMO foods? They make all these crops to where nothing, no pesticides, no animals, no insects, nothing wants it. Well, if a deer, rabbit, squirrel, raccoon, and also insects don't want your corn, there could be something wrong with it. It may not be natural and healthy for you like you think it is. God made our body to have a normal immune system. What they're saying is we're going to modify your own immune system. You're going to become just like those seeds where nothing's going to attack you anymore. That nothing's going to attack you. Everything will be okay because we're modifying you now. It's not about just the seed, it's modifying you. Now I want to read what Ed Dowd just said. Now if you've not read and listened to what Ed Dowd talks about, he's a brilliant man, but there's sometimes that he says things and people are like, oh, I don't know if that's true. Well, this came out, and this is, I thought, was a very good point of what he made, and there's been some more people talk about this. It says, Ed Dowd, a former BlackRock portfolio manager, said that this were designed to take care of the pension problem for the boomers. And this is to bring 10 to 15 million younger, mostly male folks as replacement population. If I was going to want to take care of the debt problem and inflate the economy, I would have done it just like this. Brilliant man who understands policy and understands geopolitical situations is saying, well, just like how, and I'm going to use this as an example. How many times have you seen countries start wars to get themselves out of financial binds? Happens all the time. Wrong, but that's what happens. What he's saying is there could have been a money problem, a pension problem, could have been a Social Security problem. There could have been a problem where the retirements could not be met, the pensions could not be met unless something extenuating happens and massive amounts of people are no longer of need of that service anymore. So that first story was spinning this as the best thing ever because you become the new GMO crop. This was, and then what he's saying, the former BlackRock advisor saying, this stuff is actually, it's literally putting the last nail in your coffin, especially if you're already a sick person. So you can't have it both ways. Here's what I always tell you. Do your research, and then guess what? Fall back on what God does. Fall back on what makes sense. God made our immune system to fight or not fight things. God made us to be able to work the ground and have things in crops get messed up. Like I'm an organic grower, so there's a lot of times I don't get the crops that I wish I could. But I also know that the seeds that I'm using are non-GMO heirloom seeds that were provided by really nature that God has given us. And we know that we can't really do it better than Him. And I think this is what Ed Dow's bringing up. He's saying, look, they solved their problem. They caused inflation. They caused turmoil. All this stuff. And this is just him. This is allegedly, and again, this is him stating. He said that it did exactly what they wanted to do. Cause population to go down, solve a pension problem, and also make people believe that this is perfect and you should be using this technology always. Just like the last story that was actually building it up. Most people are realizing it's actually not building us up. It's tearing us down. And that's not good. Now back to Congress, and we're going to talk about state Congress. Now I don't live in Texas, but I talked about the Epic City, I talked about the Sharia law situation and all that going on. And there's been some pushback against it. So I'm glad other influencers are picking this up and talking about it. But listen to what they just passed. Just passed in the Texas House. Breaking. Texas passes the resolution declaring March 23rd as Pakistan Day. Yes, this is real. We now officially have a Pakistan Day in America. The same state who was allowing Epic City to be purchased to be built for a Muslim-only community that believes in Sharia law. So on one hand, they're actually trying to stop it, but then they're declaring a day of Pakistan Day in America. First of its kind. You don't believe that our government is infiltrated because that's a pet project. You know why? Most people would think that's the absolute stupidest thing, that they're actually doing a day of recognition. But I imagine there's some money flowing behind the scenes for it. What they're trying to do is make it easier to say, well, we have to have this epic city for these people. I mean, it's freedom. Let's give it to them. What happens is slowly and surely we start losing our rights. Look at the UK. Name the 5 biggest areas in the UK, especially in Great Britain. Name the 5 biggest cities. Birmingham, Nottingham, the mayor of London. A lot of these people are of Muslim descent. They've taken over that whole culture. And it's all because we gave them just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. Like what we're doing now. We're giving $40 million to the Taliban a week. We're paying for the opiums of trade, really the legal sale of these most likely. And you don't believe that's a problem? You don't believe that's a problem, especially when we're allowing them to basically come into our country and infiltrate. And Texas is passing bills for Pakistan Day in America. And you tell me, what has Congress actually done for you? Other than cause us mischief, cause us problems, and really some of the Freedom Caucus let us down today. And they're exhausted. They worked a whole day. They've been there for 2 days, and they're exhausted. They're going home. I'd like to see us try to tell our bosses that. It's unbelievable. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on today's video. Very, very important stories coming out of Washington. We need to pay attention to this. And we also need to realize that this Congress is not looking out for us. Now, before we end, the winner of today's video, and I'll tell you what, this guy comments so much, and I'm so appreciative. I'm so humbly thankful that he comments. He has commented over, once we did the drawing, he was commented over around 2,000 times in our history with the Macs. That is unbelievable. But Mr. Earl Shaner, you are the winner of today's video in really the month past for March. Please reach out to us, Mr. Earl Shaner. Reach out to us via email so we can get this gift to you. And it's just a way for we humbly to say thank you so very much for watching us. And again, all you individuals that are watching us, you're entered each and every month. So please keep watching, keep subscribing, keep giving us a thumbs up, and let us know how you feel. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Be free, be free.